Hey guys, it's Martin Cliffe here and welcome to 2022's series of Martin's Monday pedal playthrough. Now, as you may notice from my backdrop, I'm still stuck in the UK at the moment for visa reasons, only for another few weeks as you're seeing this. So what I'm going to do just for these next 3 weeks is run through the 3 pedals that I keep as well as my tuner on my board here in the UK. It's a very simple setup, but I just wanted to keep the series going, and then come February I should be back in Bucharest with all my pedals and my main rig and able to continue the series going as normal. So before we go any further, make sure you click that thumbs up icon below. Really appreciate the likes. It makes a huge difference to the channel. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already. We are getting ever closer to that 1,000 subscribers key point where there will be a giveaway, but it's a while off yet, so I'd really appreciate it if you subscribe. Only about 8% of my viewers are subscribed to my channel. And comment below if you've tried the pedal featured in this video, or if you have any other thoughts about it. So this is the TC Flashback pedal, and not even the Flashback 2, which has been out a few years. This is the original Flashback 1, which I got at least 10 years ago. And I think basically I don't think I've changed the settings much since I got it either. It's very simple pedal. I'm just running in mono. It does stereo, it pans the repeats out, it's really cool. But just plugged using Snowy, my Ibanez JS100 that I've had for 17 years or something, with Sir pickups, an SSV Plus and an SSV neck, and I'll also play my Telecaster through the pedal and into a Laney Cub 10 with a couple of 57s on it in Fredman. Very basic setup because I'm still in the UK and I'm limited. It's a horrible, dark, rainy, cold December day, as you'd expect from the north of the UK in December, I guess. So I'm having to shoot on ISO 1600, which I never do, but just making the most of it. So it is in essence a pretty simple pedal. It has 4 knobs. It has a delay knob, which is the time of the delay, although it also has what's known as strum tempo, which will be impossible for me to demonstrate in this particular setup, but basically you can hold the pedal down, strum a regular pattern, and it will silence the output while it does that, but then it will read the strums and use that as your time. It's like tap tempo except not useful. I've used it occasionally, but more on my own just to get the delay tempo I want than anything else. It then has a feedback control, which is the number of repeats, and a FX level, which is the level of the delay relative to the dry sound. And then it has a little interval switch, so you can do quarter notes or crotchets, eighth notes or quavers, or a crotchet plus dotted quaver, quarter plus dotted eighth, which is what I've got it on at the moment. So there's 2 distinct repeats. So da 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 da. If I take the feedback right down and turn the level up a bit, you'll just hear that 1 repeat. Deliberately weird chord at the end. I'm on the modulated delay setting, which is pretty much all I use. It has a whole range of different delay types and a looper that works notoriously badly. But the modulated delay is definitely my favourite. There is a 2290 mode, which is a very pristine digital delay, There's an analog delay, a tape delay, lo-fi, a dynamic delay, which again comes from the 2290, which is where the delays are ducked while you're playing, and then as you stop playing the delays ramp up, which has a sound. It's very much a kind of 90s kind of tone, I guess. There's then a ping pong delay, which if you're running in stereo, pans one to one side and one to the other. If you're running in stereo and you're on the two different intervals delay anyway, it does that regardless, but that just makes it a bit more crazy. There's a slapback, which is for a very short kind of springy delay like you get in a kind of 50s recording. There is a reverse delay, which is kind of weird. There's the aforementioned looper, and then there's a tone print where you can, although it doesn't seem to be working in this pedal anymore, beam in sounds to the pedal. There are a whole range of things available, or you can plug it into the editor and save a preset on there. Say the newer Flashback 2 I'm sure works a lot better with the tone print. It also has different features. It has a mash function where you can use the pressure on the pedal to change things. This is much more simple, but I've had it a long time and it actually sounds really good. So I tend to run it with the feedback just about 9 o'clock, which just gives you a little bit more than one repeat. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4. There's kind of just a hint of the fourth repeat. We can obviously extend the delay time. It'll go pretty long, this delay. That's just crazy. How many seconds is that? I don't know how long that is. 2 seconds maybe. It's a very long delay. Pull it back to a bit more useful tone. But I tend to keep it roughly in the middle. And the way to count it when you've got this kind of double repeat on is to just listen for the second repeat. So it'll be da 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 da. And obviously that's great for doing all that kind of U2 stuff or any of the worship stuff. You know, anything that needs you just to be perfectly in time and fill up the space. Why I like the modulated delay is that it kind of sits back a little bit. In stereo particularly, the delay is much wider than the kind of dry signal, which is great. And I tend to pull the effects level down a bit, just unless I'm using it specifically as effect. It just kind of thickens up the tone, particularly when playing on your own. obviously the point of a delay is to accurately repeat the sounds that are going into it, or kind of sculpt them in a very prescribed way, so the sound of a guitar shouldn't affect it too much. But let's switch to the telly anyway and just hear the sound with a different guitar. So this is my Fender, it's an American Special body, it's an American standard neck with locking tuners. I've got a twisted telly pickup, Goto in-tune saddles and a 4-way switch. So you heard both pickups in parallel mode. If I switch to series mode, it's very much more MIDI kind of fat tone. So I'm just going to kick in a TC Spark booster before it, just to, because this guitar output is quite low. And let's play around with some of the other settings. Now the classic one for the telly would be the Slapback. And that's very much a short delay. What I like about that is that despite the fact that it is a much shorter delay, it doesn't actually change the delay settings. If we turn up the level so you get a bit more of that. But if I switch back to my modulated delay, it's still the same delay tone. So that tends to be the two things that I switch between the most often. But if we go to the dynamic delay, I'll try and illustrate how yeah, that's getting just a kind of digital delay, very clean. But if I play a bit more, it should duck the delay away and then only come back when I stop playing. Your mileage may vary as to how well that will be used, but for certain things it does work quite well. Lo-fi kind of rolls off low end and high end, gives it a bit of fizz. Tape. Again, kind of deteriorates more quickly in terms of the tone. So the first repeat is very authentic, and then it gets more and more lo-fi over time. Maybe I need the effects level a little lower for that one. Probably my third favourite tone on there. Analog delay. I like analog delays, but this one I much prefer, I think, my real analog delays. Very warm. The advantage of analog delay is it does sit behind everything else much more easily than other types of delay. That was rapidly turning into something between some Pink Floyd and some Marillion, so I had to change it. Analog delay, it's not the best digital version of an analog delay, but for an introduction into different types of delay, this is a great pedal. 2290, very clean delay. I remember when I got this pedal, not only did I love all the variety of delays available to me, but this basically replaced any need for me to keep my Boss DD3 or DD5 pedals. That pristine delay is pretty good here. I just don't personally have much of a use for it in most of the music I play, unless it's something that needs that very specific tone. What haven't I given you? Reverse. Reverse is weird. It's a bit hard to control. Because it doesn't seem, unless I've got it set wrong, to give you much of the original note. It's great in wet dry, but I remember now, you need to turn up the feedback control to get the dry sound. So it's an interesting effect, but not necessarily something I would go out and buy this pedal for. I'm sure there are pedals that do that particular sound much better. But yeah, for a good introduction to different kinds of delays, it's a great option, I feel. It certainly opened lots of doors for me, opened my eyes and sent me down a whole analog delay rabbit hole that ended up with several carbon copies. And now I mostly use the Mad Professor Deep Blue delay, which is actually a digital version of an analog delay. But definitely it was this pedal that sent me down that road. And for a affordable delay pedal to keep here with this board in the UK, it is pretty much ticks all the boxes. So thanks for watching, guys. Take care. Hopefully in the next week or two we'll get a normal video up back in Bucharest, but until then, see you soon. Remember to click the like, subscribe, comment below.